So this is DC-MarvelGirl 1997 back on the channel with a gaming video for you guys. So this is actually a game that I've been wanting to bring to this channel for quite a long time. It's Evil Genius. This is one of my favorite games. I've beat it before. We're gonna see if I can beat it with all of you watching me. We'll see, because there are going to be times where it's a lot of trial and error and I need to go back and I need to try things again. So we're going to see just how well we do here, because let's just say with a game like this, there's going to be a lot of trial and error, and I figured, you know what, take you guys through the process of playing a type of game like this. You know, if you ever consider doing it, I'm gonna go through all the hard stuff for you and figure everything out for you so that you don't have to. Consider this like a cheat sheet, basically, because you cannot beat a game like this without some kind of cheat sheet. So we're gonna do a new game, take off the video hints, because I hate the video hints, they're annoying. We're going to play it on easy because it's been a while since I've done this, and we're going to select our evil genius. So, Maximilian, who is considered the most popular of all the evil geniuses, take control as Maximilian. Short, bad-tempered, and utterly insane. You are the fabulously wealthy industrialist. Your ambition is to conquer the world through advanced research and technological supremacy. Alexis. Take control as Alexis. Beautiful, elegant and beautiful, you are the adorable millionaire heiress. Your beautiful countenance commands the utmost respect and loyalty from those who are fortunate enough to be chosen to be your minions. And Shen Yu. Take control as Shen Yu, mystical and incrustable. You are the quixotic super criminal turned super agent turned evil genius. Your powerful global network of conspirators ensures you have hidden influence over the governments of the world. So, since loyalty is the most important, and I always prefer to play with female characters, and this is like no bias. Like, I've played as Shen Yu before, but I just could never beat the game with him. And besides, I tell people this. There's a reason why I often choose to make all my avatars female in games like City of Heroes. And if you want to know why, it's because with City of Heroes, it's all anonymous. People don't know your gender. They're just gonna make assumptions about what your gender is based off the type of characters that you want to play as. It's like being in the world of Ready Player One. It's like being in the what do they call that world in Ready Player One? Completely forgot it. Haven't read that book in a while, but it is like being part of that. And if they're just gonna assume that I'm a girl because I like to play with female characters, then I might as well play into their expectations and so might as well play into people's expectations and play as Alexis. So we're gonna start as Alexis, aka the wannabe Cruella de Vil. Love her. Just had to turn up my volume a little bit so I could hear things a little better. I think 32 for my personal volume, so I can hear everything is good enough. So let's check some objectives. So, get acquainted with the island and start expanding your lair. Ensure a healthy minion force by building a barracks. You'll need at least one bunk bed and a locker. Pretty basic. Before you can send minions around the world to carry out acts of infamy, you need to construct a control room to help filter information. Make sure you have at least one control console and one memory bank. Easy enough. It seems you are under scrutiny even before you begin. Somewhere on the island are some pesky investigators tipped off of your arrival. Eliminate them. Alright, So I'm going to start by constructing the base, which is what I have the most fun doing. So this island, by the way, is not nearly big enough for everything that you could possibly want. You're going to have to build a second barracks at some point from what I'm able to find. So we're going to start by building a corridor, a nice long corridor, because I might as well get the agents confused as possible by building a nice long corridor. So there we go. So the barracks is the biggest room that I want to build in here. So let's start by carving it out of the rocks. I hate that there's that big stone slab there. I personally have always hated that about this. That there's always a big slab of rock right in the center. It's annoying, but you can't really do much about that, so. Ugh, I hate that so much. That looks annoying. Alright, I think that's okay. Alright, that looks good for barracks. Then let's do the control room. That looks like a nice, decent size for a control room. We don't need it to be too big, but we don't want it to be too small either. We want it to be enough to fit some loot inside there eventually, so I want to stick the control panels towards the back of the room so no agents find it too easily. You know what? Do I want that many? I don't think I want that many. I don't think that many is necessary right now. So let's just stick with this amount for now, because eventually you can get the option to get like a big screen TV in there too. So I want to put the memory bank there and the time clock here. I want at least 2 memory banks. And then we have to build a strong room, which stores all our loot and pillage. You know what? Does the strong room really need to be that big? I don't think so. But I want it to be big enough because sometimes your minions are stupid enough to block your doorway with gold bars. So let's put that there. So might as well start. So Alexis, you can move forward. Let's get a door in there too. And get some fire extinguishers into this space as well. Nice. So might as well put 4 inside there and some in the hallway, because if you don't have enough fire extinguishers, your minions can't put out the fires. So that's what we're gonna do. And then we're gonna build up the barracks with some lockers. So here's what I want to do. I think I know what I want to do with the barracks. I want it to be like lockers all along the walls, and then in the center will be the beds. So we'll do 2, 4. All right, time to get them to work. And of course,
that's right.
For my henchman, I have Eli Barracuda to start off, which, I mean, I love Eli Barracuda. He's a fan favorite. Everybody, as far as I knew, who played this game absolutely loves Eli Barracuda. They're the agents that are looking for me, so might as well tag them to be killed, and Eli Barracuda will get to them eventually. But, okay, Eli, why don't you go kick their asses right now?
I'll bitch slap his ass.
Yeah, bitch slap their asses. Do what you do best, Eli Barracuda. Awesome, we have the freezer available, which holds the dead bodies inside there, the body bags, and we don't need an obnoxiously big freezer to carry everything, so I would say that right there is a decent enough size, because we're going to need space for the power, as well as we're going to need some more space. So we're going to need space for the archives room, which we can only get through looting from the World Domination map, and I'll show you guys how to do that eventually once we build up this control room. But the thing about building up the control room is that eventually a humble maid shows up onto the island, I guess to vacation. I don't know why, really, but the thing is that once you kidnap the maid, you get your valet minions. But I recommend not doing that so soon in the game. You need to wait until you get at least billions of dollars in your account before you do anything else with that. So what I tend to do is that if I'm like going somewhere, or if I'm going someplace, or if I'm doing something for like a couple hours, like I will leave my minions to go and loot and pillage on the World Domination map for at least like an hour or two. Sometimes you can even leave it like overnight, and they'll loot and pillage overnight, but you have to leave the game up for a long period of time. So I think what I'll do is I'll have them loot and pillage at least for like an hour or two, maybe tomorrow, before I go into recording, and I'll just like watch maybe some shows or something like that tomorrow, so that way they do all the hard work in the morning, basically, and I won't have to worry about recording like all those hours of just them looting and pillaging, because it's boring just, you know, watching your gold bars stack up in the strong room. So I think that it'll be best if I just leave it alone tomorrow, and that way you don't have to sit through all those boring hours. So that way we can just get to the good stuff. And I'll take you guys along with this whole thing, because this is actually a very good game. The only thing I don't like about it is that it does have some pacing issues. It has quite a bit of issues to it. I don't know if those pacing issues actually got fixed with Evil Genius 2, because I haven't played it yet. So I'm hoping I'll be able to play it soon, because I am late in the game with playing Evil Genius Part 2. Because it's been anticipated for so many years that I think at this point I just want to play it just to see how it is. I want to experience it, because I like that they added female construction workers and minions into there, and I like the fact that they made getting the henchmen a little bit more competitive, so it's always a plus. So let's see, we can get like 5 minions in there, because that's our capacity. I like how it turns from night to day in this, which is really awesome. And eventually you get a hotel that you can build, so I'm really looking forward to that. So I think that the hotel will be built around this area, pull the tourists in and have them be trapped inside the hotel and have them just drink, change clothes, do whatever they want. Okay. I need freezer racks.
All construction workers are busy at the present time. Object purchase delayed. This object will be purchased when a minion is available for duty.
And I think that I need an opening. Yeah.
Object will be moved shortly.
I need an opening for when I
All
build.
construction workers are busy at the present time. Object
I think I'm
purchase
gonna build
delayed.
like a little tiny corridor. Hold on, I can't see anything with this little screen blocking my way. Let me see what I can actually do about that. Yeah, let me move my screen. Alright, that's so much better. I can actually see what I'm doing now. That's better. Make a nice long corridor. And that can lead to the armory, which is where you hold hostages and stuff. So that'll be better. And then we can add in.
This object will be purchased when a minion is available
Fire
for duty.
extinguishers. So I want the doorway to be like that much.
All construction workers are busy at the present time. Object purchase delayed.
But again, that can change because it depends on what looks best and how much I can fit in the space. Because, look at it, it's like all square footage. This is like building architecture, basically. And besides, one thing I liked about this game as a kid is that it does teach you life skills. And no, I'm not talking about the life skills of a sociopathic evil genius. I'm talking about money management, building spaces, seeing what you can and can't afford, time management, juggling various things at the same time. It's all things that the average, regular, good human being can use. So, just watching them build my giant barracks. Sometimes I wonder if I regret, like, making the barracks that big, but you're better off with having too much space for a barracks at first, because you can eventually get gym equipment that can go in there, and usually, more often than not, I end up needing to build a second barracks in this island, but it gets easier once you get to the second island, which has the volcano, and that is where you build your rocket ship to, and you have the option, I think, to launch John Steele, I think his name is, into the sky. Alright, barracks is built! Yay! But the minions, like, they have their own stats, but one thing I never liked about them is that they all look the same. You know what I mean? Like, every single one of them all looks the same, and they all looked kind of cookie cutter. I never really liked that about this. So that's one thing I was appreciative about the sequel game, even though I haven't played it yet, from what I saw of the trailers and stuff for it, is that none of the minions looked, cookie cutter, like your basic, like, white colored guy. They had, like, different skin tones, different skin colors. They all looked very, very distinctive from each other. So if that's one thing I can appreciate about the sequel, is that they actually took some time to make the minions look a little bit more distinctive and not so cookie cutter as they did in this first game. I mean, this game, it was made at a very, very different time. It was made in the early 2000s, so of course it's all gonna look, you know, very, very specifically the same. But, you know, time has evolved, and, you know, you do need to make it look different and more updated for the time, so. It's one thing I do agree with. So they're just going to build my control room. And I think once that's built, I'll send them off to loot and pillage a little bit in the on the world domination screen. And then tomorrow I'll have them loot and pillage for hours and hours until I get enough money. And that way we can completely build up the base before we kidnap the maid and move forward. Because once we move forward, that's when the good stuff happens. Off they go. Andy Mucho. Ralph Scott. Waylon Yeem. So, like, they all have their own names, their own stats and everything, which is really nice. Gordon Ruiz, working for you. And then, of course, Alexis. Cruella de Vil, Cruella de Vil.
You are the epitome of evil, and the single flaring spark of genius who will one day have the entire world basking in your radiance. Until then, keep safe at all costs. If you die, who will be left to lead the world to greatness? You have the ability to boost the importance of orders, and can summarily execute members of your workforce who displease you.
So, why don't we read up about Alexis, my evil genius? When Alexis's father died, bequeathing his multi-million-dollar fortune and media empire to her, it would have been easy for her to conform to the traditional young heiress template, frittering the money away on whining, dining, and generally living the high life. Despite being spoiled rotten, however, Alexis was also highly motivated and intelligent, with sharp awareness of the way the world worked. Her hard work and piercing intellect saw her take the helm of her father's media empire with aplomb, and global revenues soon quadrupled under her shrewd leadership. Alexis was not without vices. However, years of being Daddy's little princess gave her a colossal ego and a need for constant adoration. After a brief few years of contentment, the sycophantic praise she received from the flunkies in her company was no longer enough. Seeking a wider audience to worship her, she moved in front of the cameras and soon became America's darling, gaining widespread acclaim for her TV and film roles. And all too soon, the glamour faded. Alexis wanted more. More adulation. More wealth. More power. Alexis wanted the world. Alexis's beautiful presence and alluring personality commands her unswerving devotion from her minions. If you play as Alexis, your minions' loyalty drain rate will be reduced. So it's one good thing about her. And that's why I've always preferred her, because if I can keep my minions from running off on my island, then you know what? Better. And look at that aura that surrounds her. It's so huge. It's like so much bigger than Shen Yu or Maximilian's aura. So now we have 7 minions in total. And I want to add some beds and lockers in here too.
Object purchase order confirmed. Object has been ordered. Object purchase order confirmed. This object will be purchased when a minion is available for duty.
ahead of you, darling. I've got my heart set on this. Way ahead of you, darling.
All construction workers are busy at the present time. Object purchase delayed.
Alright, so I'm just assessing how much space I have. Up here is where my laboratory should be later on. So that's when you can start experimenting, and that's when it starts becoming really fun. Let's see here. This is better. The music is lower, sound effects are lower. Yeah, I think that stereo is fine. So you should be able to hear me, I would hope.
New objectives
Awesome! Sweet! Alright, so I think that this is where we're going to sign things off for today. So, a humble maid should be coming soon to this island. So, why don't we start building out our armory, which is where our holding cell will be. So, that's what we're going to start building out. So, let's start building out the armory, and then we're going to sign off for the day. So, let's see. How much space we can fit. I mean, I know rooms can be built in all kinds of shapes, but do we really need a huge armory? I don't know. But we definitely do need space for a mess hall later, so I'm just gonna map it out with what I think I might need right now. I think that's good, and then we can always build the training room and stuff here, and then that'll lead into mess hall, infirmary, you know, all that jazz. So it's gonna
Object has been ordered.
count for later. So here we go. I think that's good enough.
Object purchase
So that
order
looks like a
confirmed.
decent sized armory. I should be able to fit all my guns, weapons, and stuff in there later. So I am going to be signing off for the day. God bless. Happy gaming. See ya.